What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Steelers Breakdown. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. Officially have the starting quarterback. It is Russell Wilson. Isaac Seumalo gets hurt. A bunch of other different things along the offensive line. Let's talk about it. So let's start first with the biggest news of the day. Mike Tomlin officially names Russell Wilson the starter of the Steelers this year. Folks, if you've heard me talk about this for the last few weeks, you knew it was fairly obvious that he was going to start right away. I mean, there was literally almost no outcome, in my opinion, at least, once Russell Wilson came back and started in that Bills game that was going to change their mind. I think that Justin Fields had a chance to win this competition. I do. I think he had a chance at some point, but I don't think that it I think once we got past a certain point and Russell Wilson came back and resumed those QB1 reps after the calf injury, I think that's where it started to settle in where, yeah, okay, this guy's going to start. And the one thing that was always going to have to happen, regardless of the competition and where it stood, was if Justin Fields was going to win this job, he was going to have to blow Russell Wilson out of the water. Wilson was going to have to struggle, and Fields was going to have to ball out just in another stratosphere compared to Wilson, and that just didn't happen. And I think you can make an argument that Fields was the better quarterback. But when you come in with a guy like Wilson that was in pole position and was declared to be the starter already, you kind of have to knock that guy off the pedestal. And I don't think that happened. And you know, I think you can. I said yesterday kind of how much you consider that a competition. I think, Fields had a chance to win, but I definitely think this was always slanted towards Russ winning it. And so there's different dimensions to this. Russell Wilson, I think they're gonna have to run a lot of pistol, empty, shotgun. Probably less of the under center stuff. Doesn't mean they can't run under center stuff, but I don't think they should run as much of it as they could with, say, Justin Fields. Um, Russell Wilson is absolutely going to have to scan the field before he throws the ball, and is going to have that optimum time from the shotgun and in pistol sets, different things like that that will allow him to use his QB smarts. Because when he goes under center, turns his back to the defense, play action, et cetera, like that, can it work? It can, but we've talked about the issues with his height right now and the fact that he doesn't have the mobility that he once did. It's not that he has bad mobility. He can certainly still move around. It's just he doesn't have the ability to create like he used to out of structure anymore. And so he has trouble finding throwing lanes that in turn makes him have trouble throwing over the middle of the field. And you could see the issues as they parlay from there. He panics, runs into pressure, et cetera, et cetera. So everything kind of comes off that little bit. And so they'll have to build it around him. I'm sure we're gonna see something related to Justin Fields working in a package. I think that is something that we can probably end up seeing. And it makes a lot of sense, right? When you think about it, Fields is a dynamic athlete. Mike Tomlin has talked that up consistently. So has Arthur Smith. I think that it makes a lot of sense for them to have Justin Fields in a package. He's a weapon. You want as many weapons as you can, especially when you're going to be a run team like the Steelers are going to be, and your passing game isn't going to be the crux of your offense. Yeah, you're absolutely going to want a guy like Justin Fields infused in that offense because he can just bring another element that you don't have. And so the quarterback run game, different things like that can absolutely be helped out with a Justin Fields package. I expect it to happen. And we have talked about that for a while now of why I expect that to happen. And it's because Fields is just so dynamic with the football in his hands. It seems like to me they would have a hard time really turning away from that. So expect a Justin Fields package. I think he's shown enough um, to certainly see where the Steelers could go with him if he was the starter. So I don't think that's out of the picture at some point this season. Certainly, I certainly think they have confidence in what he could bring to the table there. And on top of that, I think the gap isn't so big. So if there gets to a point where the upside play makes a lot more sense, I think they will look in that direction. But let's go to the offensive line because as important as quarterback is to this team, the offensive line is dealing with a lot right now between Broderick Jones' struggles, Troy Fautano being injured, Dylan Cook going down. Now Isaac Seumalo is going to miss about 4 weeks with a pectoral injury. Now that's 4 weeks from now. I want to say that 4 weeks from now, so you can count 1 week off. But the earliest he probably returns theoretically is that home opener against the Los Angeles Chargers on September 22nd. More realistic would probably be the week after that in Indianapolis. If you really want to stretch it even further than that, Dallas on the return home trip after that. So, by October, I would expect him to be back, but could he miss all of September, those 4 games? Sure. Could we see a short-term IR stint? I can't rule that out. I think, he's a big loss, but it could have been a lot worse. This could have been season ending for Isaac Seumalo, and that would have been a crushing blow, to be quite honest with you. I think he's their best offensive lineman right now. So that would have been a huge loss for the Steelers. As for who they will play in his place, I expect Spencer Anderson. He's run with the first team when Ciamalo has had better days off all offseason. That includes games, practices, et cetera, et cetera. Now, McCormick has seen first team reps and I think has just been an all star this summer. I think he's been awesome and has consistently improved time and time over. But I just don't think that they are going to put him out there just yet. And so I think you're going to see Spencer Anderson. And it's not like, Anderson isn't an upside play. He certainly is. Spencer Anderson is only 24 years old. He's in his second season. So it's not like you won't see that guy have upside to his game, too. So when you take all of that into consideration, Lord, into consideration, I think you come out a little worried about the offensive line and the quarterback pairing. Just kind of talking about these together, So let's think about let's walk through this for a little bit. So you have a rookie center. Zach Frazier's looked awesome. Credit to him. You're gonna have a young left guard. You're gonna have at least one young tackle, if not two. If they go Jones Fautanu, you're gonna have two, and Fautanu has not played much. And then you're gonna have two quarterbacks, whether it's Russ back there or Justin Fields, at any point in this stretch that hold on the ball for a long time and take a lot of sacks. I mean, that's just a recipe that could present problems. Right off the bat. I mean, that could easily present problems for the Steelers. This meshing between what they have on the offensive line and what they're going to have a quarterback, I think it's a little concerning. I do. Um, and so we'll kind of see where that goes for the Steelers, but I do think it's fair to be a little concerned about that marriage. I don't think it's a perfect um, marriage for both sides, but we'll see. But losing Ciamalo is a big loss for the Steelers. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He is a very good run blocker. He's a steady pass protector, and he's the leader, the silent leader, if you will, of that room. He is a massive boon to that offensive line. So that's an issue. But more than that, there's more going on here where Dan Moore was at right tackle today, Broderick Jones was at left tackle, and Troy Fautano was working off to the side and looked like for the first time since his injury, he could be starting to come back. And so that's another wrinkle. What do they do at tackle? I'm still not quite sure what they're going to do at tackle. The fact alone that Broderick Jones is starting to get left tackle reps and they're starting to get Dan Moore right tackle reps signals to me they're preparing for that Troy Fautano return, and he'll be in the starting lineup sooner than later. And so we'll see. I think Troy Fautano and Broderick Jones is the ideal pairing, but also we know how Broderick Jones has struggled, the elbow, et cetera. And on the blind side, and that's no matter how you slice it, that's a risky proposition. So a lot to kind of digest there. Heading into this 4-day break, they won't practice probably until Monday. They'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they'll start preparing for the Falcons. And on Monday, we'll see who's out there. Troy Falton and Jalen Warren said that they plan to practice. Roman Wilson wouldn't confirm it, but I expect him to as well. So I think the Steelers are going to start to get a little healthy here. Ciamalo aside, but I think they're going to start getting a little healthier here across the team, and we'll see. They're going to need it. It's not an easy matchup in Week 1, and Russell Wilson's going to prepare as the starting quarterback. We'll see how that goes, but football is nearly here. It is not far away from the start of the regular season. All right, folks, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell if you are watching this on YouTube. If you are listening to this on a podcast platform, make sure to leave a review. We'll be back tomorrow talking more about the Steelers.